Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another exercise tutorial from our Managerial Accounting course, ACCT 428. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at exercise 1-6. So let's read the exercise together. It says, a review of the accounting records of Baird Manufacturing indicated that the company incurred the following payroll costs during the month of March. Assume the company's financial statements are prepared in accordance with GAAP, and then they're giving us a list of transactions, mainly payments to their employees, so salary of the company president, salary of the vice president of manufacturing, and so on. Okay, let's see what's required. A, what amount of payroll cost would be classified as SG&A expense? So selling, general, and administrative expense. Okay. Now, this is another classification exercise where basically what we're going to do, we're going to go over these salaries and wages and determine which ones are directly related to the manufacturing process. So that would be classified as a product cost, and which ones are related to the selling, general, and administrative activities of the business. So these will be classified as SG&A. So since the requirement is to specify or find the amount of payroll that would be classified as SG&A, so we'll go and read these one by one, and I'm going to highlight the ones that should go or should be classified as SG&A. Okay, so let's look at the first one. The first one says salary of the company president, and the company president does not have anything to do directly with the manufacturing process, so this one would be included. So let's highlight this. Sorry, make that smaller. Okay, so we're going to include this. Second one, salary of the vice president of manufacturing, and because it says vice president of manufacturing, we're not going to include this one here. This one is going to be classified as a product cost or a manufacturing cost, so we'll skip it. Next one, salary of the chief financial officer. The chief financial officer should be classified as SG&A. Next one, number 4, salary of the vice president of marketing. Again, this is the vice president of marketing, so this is classified as SG&A. You also could approach this in a different way where you could just write next to it. So you go over these and classify them. So this one is G&A, this one products, this one is SG&A, okay, and so on. But I'm highlighting them just to make it easier for me to put them all together in the following step. Next one, salaries of middle managers, department heads, production supervisors in manufacturing plant. Again, the key word here is the manufacturing plant. So this one should be classified as a product cost, so we're going to exclude it from our calculation for part 1. Number 6, wages of production workers. Again, this is not going to be included. This should be classified as a product cost, so we'll skip it. Number 7, salaries of administrative secretaries. This one should be classified as SG&A, so we will include it. Number 8, salaries of engineers and other personnel responsible for maintaining production equipment. We have 2 keywords here. These are engineers, and they are responsible for maintaining the production equipment. So this is going to be classified as a product cost, so we're not going to highlight it. And finally, commissions paid to sales staff. SG&A, as I said, stands for selling, general, and administrative expenses. So this is clearly a selling expense, so we are going to include it. Okay, so how many accounts now we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 we're going to include. So we'll come here and we'll put these expenses together. So the first one, salary of the company president. Which was 75,000. Next, Number 3, salary of the chief financial officer. Salary of the CFO, which is 42,000. Next is number 4, salary of the vice president of marketing. Salary of the VP of marketing, which is 40,000. Next, salary of administrative secretaries. Which is 60,000. And finally, number 9, commissions paid to sales staff. So let's just call it sales commissions, which totaled 146,000. Okay. So now all we need to do is just find the total of these expenses. Total SG&A expenses. Go to our calculators. 75,000 plus 42,000 plus 40,000. Be careful with the number of zeros that you tap into your calculator, because it does change your answer, and so many students rushing in exams would make these small mistakes that would cost them a lot of marks. So just be careful. Okay. And I got $363,000, and that is the answer to part A. Okay. Now let's go back and read the second part, part B. It says, assuming that Baird made 5,000 units of product and sold 4,000 of them during the month of March, determine the amount of payroll cost that would be included in cost of goods sold. Okay. Now, there's few things that you need to pay attention to here. They made a specific amount of units, but they did not sell them all. They only sold, so they made 5,000 units, but they sold 4,000 units. Okay. And they want us to determine the amount of payroll cost that would be included in the cost of goods sold. Okay. And the cost of goods sold, it's only going to be the product cost component of our expenses, okay, that relates to the amount of product that was sold, that was actually sold during that period. This is the amount that would go to the cost of goods sold in the income statement. Otherwise, the remaining product costs are going to stay in the balance on the balance sheet as an inventory. So there's a couple of things that we need to do here. We need to first determine what was the total product cost, and then we need to specify how much of that product cost relates to the amount of products that were actually sold. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the expenses or the costs that we have here, and this time I'm only going to consider the ones that I did not highlight, because these are the ones that relate to the product cost. Okay. So the first one, salary of the VP of manufacturing. So let me write B. Determine the total product costs, starting with salary of the VP of manufacturing, which was $50,000. Okay, next one, salaries of middle managers, which was $147,000. So 147. Okay. Next, number 6, wages of production workers, 703,500. $703,500. Next, last one, number 8, salaries of engineers and other personnel responsible for maintaining production equipment, 133,500. So I'm just going to write salaries of engineers. $133,500. Okay. Now adding all of these together should give me total product costs. Go to the calculator, 50,000 plus 147,000 plus 703,500 plus 133,500, and that's 1 million. Let me see. Yeah, 1,034,000. Close this. All right. Is that the amount that we're looking for? No, not just yet. This is the total product cost for the 5,000 units. But remember, the question wants us to figure out how much, or the amount of payroll cost that would be included in the cost of goods sold. Okay? And the cost of goods sold should only be related to the number of units that were actually sold. So there are 2 ways that we can do this. We can find how much the 4,000 represent as a percentage of the 5,000. Okay? So we could say change this. Okay. We could say let me just write A first method A, or let's call it method A. The amount of payroll included in cost of goods sold should equal 4,000 units divided by 5,000 units. Okay, okay, multiplied by the 1,034,000 that we just calculated. Okay, 4,000 divided by 5,000, that's 80%, multiplied by 1,034,30. Okay, and that equals 827,200. So $827,200. Okay. The other way we can do this is that we can find how much or what is the amount of payroll that would be included in the cost of goods sold per unit. How do I do this? Let's write here method number B. You don't have to do both methods. You just pick the one you prefer that you will not forget hopefully in the exam and just do it. Okay? I'm going to copy this. I'll take the total product cost, this one, and divide it by the total number of units. Okay? So that would be 1,034,000 divided by 5,000 units, and then multiply that by 4,000 units. Okay? So with this, we will find how much is the payroll that would be included for each unit in the cost of goods sold, and then we multiply it by the number of units that we actually sold, and we should get the same answer. Okay, so let's go to the calculator. 1,034,30 divided by 5,000. That's $206. Let me write it here. $206.8, and then multiplied by 4,000. That's the same amount we found in the first method, which is $827,200. Okay, which is what is required by the question. As you can see, we got the same answer. Okay, one common mistake is that students would just calculate this and then stop in a similar question, where just keep in mind that the question is specifically asking for the amounts that would be included in the cost of goods sold. And the amounts that are included in the cost of goods sold in the income statement only relate to the products that were actually sold during the period. So just make sure that you don't forget that, okay? So these are all the requirements. So this is part A we've done here. This is the total SG&A expense, or the amounts of payrolls that would be classified as SG&A, all right, for part A. And then for part B, the amount of payroll included in the cost of goods sold is going to be $827,200. This is how you can solve any similar question to this. It's relatively easy. Again, it depends on your understanding and your ability to classify different payroll items or different payroll expenses, whether they should go to the SG&A or should be classified as SG&A or a product cost. Okay, I hope that you found this video useful. If you have any questions, as always, please do not hesitate to drop them down in the comments. And until I see you in the next tutorial, thank you so much. Take care.